Hi everyone, I am Eva Nash and this is Kate Rogan. We're Rogan Nash Architects and
Hi.
This is our project Home Sweet Home. The project is actually a kitchen that's part of a wider house that we designed for Kate. So it's actually Kate's house and designed for Kate and her family, her husband Matt and her two children Rose and Hugo, who are kind of youngish.
Yeah, entertaining.
Yeah.
Eva and I do all designs together, so even when it's our own projects, we're still involved as the design team, as a set. But when it is your own project, you get a little bit of a chance to kind of push ideas that maybe other people might be a little bit fearful of. And so Eva and I we're always keen to use colour in projects, and we had been thinking a lot about colour blocking and how that had come through a lot of other fields of design. In particular, this image here is by one of our favourite designers, Clara von Zweiberg. I might not be saying it correctly. And this is actually some work she did for area wear. But we were trying to work out how we could interpret colour blocking into a home, but still make it feel cohesive and actually still make it feel comfortable for everyday life. So it's a little bit of a trick. But Eva and I love doing design, and so we thought this would be quite fun to do together.
Exactly. We also often take reference from art when we're looking at our projects. And this piece spoke to us. Green is one of our favourite colours, and we often try and, in the past, we've suggested people do a green kitchen, but not everyone's brave and bold enough to do that. So that's why it was great when Kate, it was her project, we were like, yeah, well, definitely now we can try out those ideas that we've, sometimes people are a little bit more conservative, especially in New Zealand. So this piece spoke to us, and it also is about the tone-on-tone language that we wanted to introduce to the project. So colour blocking and tone-on-tone. And then we'll talk about the kitchen planning, because space planning is really important to everything that we do. As architects, we're thinking about the whole overall space. We're thinking about ergonomics, usability, and so for us, I wonder if this is a pointer. Is this a pointer as well? No. Okay, so the plan was really important. We wanted to, as you would know yourselves, kitchen design, the most ergonomic is the kitchen triangle, and making that as small as possible gives you a really efficient layout. So the hob, the fridge, and the sink are in that triangle, and we've made that as efficient as possible by making them the back wall and the island bench. The island is attached to the wall. We call this a peninsula. And it's positioned so that you can be part of the room, the largest space. There's plenty of space for bar stools, and so it can also be as a social area. The dishwasher is beside the sink on the right, and that's just, we've zoned the kitchen so it's really easy to unload that, the crockery cupboard being behind it, the cutlery drawer being beside. Really simple basic ideas, but they just make a kitchen much easier to use, much more efficient. Fridge being on the outside is often a key thing with kitchen design, so that people can come get a drink and not interrupt the person at the hob. All of those really simple moves which just make kitchen design really important, and really you need to think about that in advance. And then not everyone loves the kitchen scullery, but Kate in particular is a real champion for the kitchen scullery. And so the first bay that you walk into on the right-hand side is the scullery, and then it moves out to the laundry and then out to outside. So it's a really easy flow, the laundry, scullery, kitchen idea, and it means that you've got amazing storage in your kitchen.
So here you can see some of these references we're bringing through. As I said before, we were looking at references in fashion. This happens to be a scarf from Missoni in one of their home ranges. You can see how we've taken reference for that and brought that through to the architectural objects in the room. Obviously the greens that we were talking about before, bringing through those taupes, looking at the aggregate and the concrete coming through to this. And you can start to see how we related this tone-on-tone idea to colour blocking. So effectively each room, each area is tone-on-tone, and together they make the colour block. So it's all about those interrelationship of spaces. And I guess we're in that fortunate position where we're designing the entire house, and Eva and I always design all those objects, inside it, all that cabinetry as well. So here, this is one of our reference points for the tone on tone, so how we brought that object through to the kitchen. This is a Soden teapot, which is designed as part of the Hay collection. And you can see obviously how we're bringing that green through. We're looking at the slate green Mutina and then bringing that through so that it works with those powder coats over the range above and then the tiles behind.
And then just looking at some of the detail through it. I've only got 5 minutes, so we're going to talk really fast. The black accent actually references the cladding on the exterior of the house. So we brought black through as accent objects. The handles, the appliances, and the tomato shelves, which are also used throughout the house, just for consistency, are all here in the kitchen and also in the other spaces, as we'll see in a minute.
So here we're looking at this overall of the kitchen. So again, you can see the tone on tone, and you start to see these other references and how they relate to the other spaces. We had a few different thematic ideas that we were bringing through. These strong geometries, which you can see is actually a reference to the shape of the site, and it comes through the outside of the house as well. But in this case, you can see with the selection of the Mutina tile, and then how we brought that round the base of the island bench. It was actually playing on that sort of European idea of traditional bars, you know, how they have those double tiles together. So we love that play.
And then just, you can see on the left, the image, we did look at fashion in terms of how that colour blocking and tone on tone is utilised. And here you've got the scullery in behind the green of the kitchen and also those torps underneath. The stainless steel benches, we used thin plate stainless steel because the bench wasn't supposed to be the highlight here. It's supposed to recede and be highly functional.
So again, you can see how it plays with the rest of the spaces. So the Mutina tile coming through the entrance area here, and then further down into the sunken lounge. We actually played with a bit of a broken plan here. So it's just all these layering up of just different textures.
Then moving into the scullery.
So we really loved this image of this glassware, and again, it has that tone and bringing it through to the feature of the black. I actually have always wanted one of these utensils. They were very fashionable when I was a child, and I felt as though everyone had one. And so we did bring this into this.
We made sure we had a spot. And then this is the scullery. You can see that we have used Maltica and porcelain blush here throughout. We've got the cupboards, the open cupboards, the bench tops, and the cupboards below as well. So everything all is one. And believe it or not, this is actually how Kate lives. It's always tidy like this. And then moving through, I'm trying to rush to get through the timing. The porcelain blush is in all the areas, and this is the handle, some of the handle selection. We utilised circular pulls for the cupboards. The drawers have the linear. The feature handle is on the tall storage. And then we also tried to introduce this idea, this is actually towel rails, but we've attached them to the underside of the cabinetry as your hanging rail for the laundry.
We call it the rail of good intentions, where you might put stuff you would pretend to iron. And then this is the reverse side of that laundry space. So obviously always thinking about storage, because that's the way to actually make a family home work, is to make sure you've got places to put everything. We're really keen to bring feature items all the way through into these areas, so that even parts of the home which might be forgotten, we actually try to enhance. You can see it referencing back to those outside areas there.
And then just, because we're architects, we're always thinking about the overall plan. So you can see the Mutina tiles and the floor plan here, which is pulled through to those other areas. And the kitchen sits centrally within the downstairs living space. You can see along the side is the service areas at the bottom of the plan here, which lead to outside as well.
And just for a little bit of context here, a part of the other colour blocking in the rest of the house. So you can see together it makes that recipe. So we've got the sideboard which goes into the dining area. Then we've got the maroon in the lounge, through down here into the sunken living area where we continue those taupes through, and then the powder room above.
And we did use all standard colours from Maltica and Phoenix ranges, and then researched and tried to find the tiles that were tone on tone, yep, also from standard ranges as well.
It was kind of part of the fun for us, is that challenge of making it all work.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a fantastic looking house, but kitchen as well. I'm interested. You're balancing so many different elements, and you do it wonderfully. But in terms of actually getting a hold of them, like the Mutina puzzle, or I saw some USM somewhere. With that many moving elements in terms of shipping arrivals, was that an issue for such?
I think
the
way
question.
that you're talking about it is almost the way people talk about architecture and design in general.
Yeah.
Some person's problem is our challenge and delight. And so for us, that part of being able to search for everything and being able to get everything sourced for this house was actually part of the fun.
Yes, so you know that those Mutina puzzles aren't going to arrive for 4 months, and so you build that into
so
your
you
whole-
just build that all in,
Yeah.
and that is the way that we work anyway, that things are designed a long way before site so that you can make sure things come in time.
Yeah, and that was because actually this time period where the house was built was during the worst supply chain in our construction in recent years. So we did have to think about that, all of those things well in advance to make sure it all arrived. Because there's challenge of making sure things come in on budget, so making sure that you can use all those standardised materials, that they're available, and that everything arrives on time. And also thinking about the broader picture, like you say, with the USM or the Utensilo, and getting it all working together.
Yeah, there was a lot of ordering things online, a lot of talking to different suppliers, but those are those relationships that we've all built up over our careers, and so you always hope that you'll be in this situation that I feel very lucky to be in, and to be able to have that relationship with Eva and us to be able to do it together is really fabulous.
Yeah, because this is a very personal project, obviously, but I love how you've used fashion and artworks and design classics as influences. Is that something that you guys do in your normal day-to-day design work?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But maybe not quite so overtly.
Yeah,
because some clients take to that and others don't. But we do always think about that when we are designing. We did this presentation a couple of years ago, and it was about chairs. And chairs were a main influence because chairs have got their own personality, or we think so, and how we each chair actually relates to one of our designs. And the same thing goes through here, is that we've used art and objects in the same way to
Because I'm sure it's the same as you all. When you see a reference, it strikes an idea in your own mind. You think, how could I use that as a method of making? How could I put that into the plan? How could we interpret that differently? And Eva and I are really interested in that design process, because that's actually what makes our career so interesting, is to make it different, is to take those chances.
And it's worked beautifully. I thought you'd used paint finishes because the colours, I know what it's like digging into those Malteca and Bestwood chip boxes and how hard that can be. So, respect for that. Also, adorable, the toe space detail with the tile. It was a particular standout for me.
Thank you
Loved
very much.
it.
That's very kind.
Yeah, no, a beautiful project. I was also wondering, I'm totally on board with the green kitchen, and has it sort of allowed more clients to see it and go, I want one?
It actually has. So stay tuned. We've got another green kitchen coming up, not photographed yet. But it did help make some people take the leap.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So really, really fun design and bold, and I love it. How has it been for you living in it?
I think the thing which is, to be honest with you, it is a massive treat to be able to live in your own home that you've designed. And both Eva and I have been lucky enough to go through this process a few times. I think the thing which is curious here is how, to me, the colours seem so normal, because I really do love colour. And when people come in, sometimes I think they're expecting it to be white, and they're, they look at it slightly differently, but that's just fun for them too. So, but I think the thing when you're here is that it's so cohesive and so encouraging and so creative. And I think actually as a homeowner, it's a lot about family life and about how it influences your time there and your relationship with your children, your family. And so to me, it's only enhanced that.
Great. Thank you very much for coming in.
Great.
Thank you for having us.
It's always good to see so much more detail.